Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with my favorite authors that I discovered in 2019. So these are authors that I have come to absolutely love that I haven't read until this year. And now looking back at this list, I'm like, how have I only been reading these authors for less than a year? Because I feel like they're my favorites and I feel like I've read a lot by them, but I only discovered them this year. Now they are authors that have been around for a while, so I'm just behind the times and discovering them now, but I'll go ahead and get to the authors and the books that I've read by them that I've loved. Now this first author, I swear I've read her before, but I didn't read her until this year because I met her at a Polycon, which feels like it's been forever ago, but a Polycon was in March, so Polycon was this year, and that's B.B. Easton. This is Praying for Rain, which made me fall in love with her storytelling. I did read 44 chapters about 4 men, which is kind of her inspired by her real life, and it's going to be turned in actually to a Netflix series as well, and I liked it. I think I gave that one 4 stars, but I read this. This is pre-apocalyptic. The world's ending. Everybody's been dreaming about this date in April and they all know it's gonna happen and it's coming up, and she meets a guy and it's them surviving and the apocalyptic date coming. And so it's so good. It is the first of a trilogy and the other 2 are coming out both in January, which is exciting, but if you haven't read this yet, go ahead and read it now so that you can get ready for the 2 in January. But this is so good. I love her books. I've met her twice now this year as well, so I just love this and I'm so happy I discovered her. The next author is Monica James, and I read Bad Saint and I also read book 2 in the series. I also still have to read book 3. I'll get to that hopefully this month, and she also has a new book out that's a lot more serious. So this is her dark romance series about a girl who is kidnapped on her wedding night and she falls in love with her captor. And so book 2 definitely took a different turn. I gave book 1 5 stars, but I gave book 2 4. So we'll see where she takes the story in book 3. But Chasing Butterflies I started, but it's definitely a very serious book. The main character is assaulted in the beginning, and then her boyfriend, fiance ends up leaving her because she's like still so traumatized from that. So that's the first 10% of that book. So I put it down because I needed to be in a better mood or mindset to read that book, and it's very different than this. But she did announce she's coming out with a dark romance in February. So I'm very excited. I love her dark romances and I'm enjoying that other one. I just need to, you know, be in the mood for that kind of book. So I wasn't at the moment, but I love her dark romance series and I'm very happy I picked this up because it was everything people raved about it to be. I feel like if you've been watching me all year, none of these should be a surprise because the next one is Carrigan Bird with her historical romances. I've read 3 books by her this year, and The Highwayman was the first one and it's still my favorite. We have Your Damaged Hero, we have Secrets, and they go to Scotland, which is my favorite because I love Outlander, and I just love her writing so much. I also read book 5, I think, in the series. I read The Duke with the Dragon Tattoo, and that again is a damaged, brooding hero because he actually has no memory of who he is except for that he has a dragon tattoo, and he spends the book trying to figure out who he is and obviously falling in love with a girl who had nursed him back to health when they were younger. So this one's my favorite. I loved that one. They also read How to Love a Duke in 10 Days, and that was really fun too. So I'm going to read the rest of the series soon because I'm obsessed with her and read everything she's written. Another author I've talked about endlessly this year is Ella Mays. I picked up Marriage for One. I actually got an e-arc of it because the cover reminded me of Sam Heughan from Outlander. I just like looked at it. He's got his same kind of bone structure and I was like, ooh, I have to read that book. So I picked it up and fell in love, and if you like Mariana Zapata, you're gonna love this. It's super slow burn, marriage of convenience, so good. That's all I really want to say. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it was really good. And I also read her 2 books in her celebrity romance series. So it is To Love Jason Thorne and To Hate Adam Connor. Those 2 were so fabulous. I listened to them on audio, and I have The Hardest Fall by her, which I'm really excited to read soon. I'm just obsessed with everything she writes now and I want to read them all. So I'm so happy I discovered her. The next author I read because of a Polycon. If you don't know, Polycon is this huge romance book signing that happens every March in DC that Jennifer L. Armentrout puts on. But that is Laura Thalassa. She was supposed to go to a Polycon, and my friends Lacey and Sarah love her. So I picked up Pestilence and I picked up Rhapsodic by her. Love them both so much. She writes fantasy romances, so Rhapsodic is about fae. This one is about the apocalypse and the 4 horsemen coming in to destroy the world. This one is illness or pestilence. The next one's war, which is war, so everyone's killing people. And there's these really strong women who stand up to them and they end up falling in love with them. So they're so good, and I can't wait to read more from Laura Thalassa. I do own the rest of her Bargainer series, and I definitely need to finish War and need to read the rest of her other series before I meet her this time in March at a Polycon, because she is going this year for sure. The next author, you guys know I devoured most of the series this year, and that is Ruby Dixon. I listened to a bunch of these on audio, and these are sci-fi romances, and I picked it up because everybody else was reading it, and I was like, okay, I'll see what the hype is with these blue velvety aliens, and they're so good. They're short, so they go by really fast, and the narrators of the audio are so good. So I was just flying through every audiobook, and now I don't have Scribd anymore, and they are not on Audible Escape, so I'm gonna have to read these as ebooks to finish out the series. But she also has a lot of other series. I believe she has like a crossover with this and a different series, but I love her books, and they're just really fun, and they're not all 5 stars, but they all pass the time, and I'm so entertained by them. Next, I believe, is a debut author, and that is Lissa K. Adams, who wrote the Romance Book Club. I love this book so much. It's from Berkeley Romance. This copy's from Berkeley, and this is about a guy who's married, and his marriage is falling apart, and his wife asks for a divorce, and so he goes to his friends. He's a baseball player. He goes to his friends and asks for help, and they enlist him into their romance book club, where they read romances to help them with their own relationships. And so they're reading a historical romance, and they flash back and forth between this story and the historical romance story, which is super fun. I love that about this, and the romance was just awesome. I really enjoy romances with married couples who have to like work it out and get back together, so I really like this one. And book 2, I have an arc of it, and I'm super excited. It's a romantic suspense kind of inspired. Like, this one was historical, so I'm very excited for that. Cannot wait to read more and see what this author has in store for us next. Next, I've only read one book from this author, but I am so excited to read more. I actually have another book by her that I bought because I love this, and that is Talia Hibbert. This was her first, I believe, traditionally published book. She published this with Avon. This has chronic illness reps, where our main character has fibromyalgia, I believe. So we get a look at what it's like for someone to have this illness that people don't believe is real, and that doctors can't really explain because it's like an invisible illness. She just is chronically fatigued all the time and has pain all the time, but people are like, you're healthy and normal, like what's wrong with you? So people don't believe her, and she ends up falling for her landlord, who they have kind of a rocky enemies to lovers kind of start, and she enlists his help in her Get a Life list because she has a near-death experience in the beginning, and it's so adorable, so fun. And book 2 comes out in 2020, which I'm so excited for, about one of her sisters, so it sounds amazing. It's so good. I just recently bought A Girl Like Her, which I'm very excited to read, so I cannot wait to read more from Talia Hibbert. And the last author I have for you is actually an author duo, and that is Maximus Grow. I devoured their books like early 2019, so I feel like I've been reading them for forever, and I think I listened to all of their books on audio. I remember shoveling the driveway listening to an audiobook, and the fact that it's snowing right now makes it feel like it's been a long time since I've read their books, but it hasn't even been a year yet, and I know I've read at least 8 of their books this year alone, all on audio, and I'm obsessed with them. They're just really fun, fluffy romances, and this one has billionaires in it. I have read their football series, and I've read their doctor series. I forget what the series is called, but they're all about different kinds of doctors who are on a reality show together. So they have such fun romances. They go by really fast. They have another series that they recently came out with that I'm really excited for, like something about your brother's best friend or something, and I have that on my Kindle, and I can't wait to read it. But I'm so happy I discovered them, because if I just need something that I know I'm gonna love, especially an audiobook, because lately I've been in an audio slump because I'm just like not interested in anything I'm listening to, I need to go back to them because they are for sure something I'm gonna love and read as a romance. And those are 10 authors that I discovered this year that are definitely new favorites of mine. Let me know down below if you've read any of them and what your thoughts are on them, or if you've discovered a new author this year that you absolutely love. I'd love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.